I'm just like really bad at meal prep.
That's okay. You're good at regular prep. What's up guys, it's Kat and Dev from Two Market Girls. Welcome back to another vegan recipe. Today we are doing a meal prep video. We're planning to do a few more, but we're starting with the most important meal of the day.
Breakfast. We're also starting with breakfast because we're not good at meal prep. So breakfast is kind of the easiest thing to meal prep in my opinion.
I guess.
So we're starting with breakfast because it's a little easier, and we're gonna eventually work our way up to like lunches and dinners. And a few of you asked for breakfast meal prep, so...
Yeah, I think meal prep for every meal is smart.
Yeah.
Why not start?
We're gonna turn this into like a mini series, not like directly in a row, but you'll see us do like next lunch. Could you do a brunch meal prep? Is that weird?
I don't know when you need to meal prep. I guess if you
when would you need to meal prep dinner? I guess if...
Lots of times.
I don't know. I would never think to meal prep dinner.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not busy enough then.
My meal prep ideas is like when I'm taking food to go, that's when I need to meal prep something.
I would love to meal prep dinner because some nights I'm just like need to work nonstop when I get home. So if I could just grab something quick.
I use my dinner making as a break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, what did we meal prep for breakfast today?
Breakfast burritos.
Ayo.
Ooh. Can never go wrong with a burrito.
No, and you put a lot of stuff in these. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah. They're basically breakfast in a tortilla.
And they can be frozen?
Yes. That's the key to, I think, a breakfast meal prep.
Yes.
Is something that can be frozen.
Or just stored in general somewhere?
Yeah. Something that would last the whole week.
Yeah.
And to make these last the whole week, it's best to keep them frozen. I don't know if they would last fresh the whole week. I don't know how you'd want that.
It could be weird.
Yeah, it could be weird. So just freeze them if you want them for the whole week. And this recipe makes a perfect 5 burritos, so you have it for your entire work week.
Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've ever been perfect.
Yes.
Okay, let's go make them.
Yeah. For our tofu scramble, we're going to make it a very mushroom-heavy tofu scramble, obviously. So we're going to use dehydrated mushrooms, about 10 of them. So you want to add those to a bowl, add some boiling water to them, and allow them to sit for about 15 minutes so that they soften and are good to use for the scramble. While the dehydrated mushrooms rehydrate, we're going to work on everything else that we need. So starting with our home fries. So to make that, we need 2 large potatoes, and we're gonna dice them into very small cubes. We're going to add those into a bowl along with about a teaspoon of sesame oil, a pinch of salt and pepper, and about a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and then we're just gonna toss that so that it's all coated. Then we're gonna add those potatoes into our air fryer and allow them to air fry for about 20 minutes until they are nice and crispy. While those do their thing, we're going to prep our tempeh bacon. So we're using the recipe that we use in our Balt sandwich recipe, except we're adding an extra teaspoon of maple syrup to that and slicing up about a half a block of tempeh into really thin strips because we kind of want them a little crispy. And then we're gonna add those into the marinade and allow them to sit until we need to cook them. Okay, now we're going to prep everything for our tofu scramble. We need about 1 block of firm tofu crumbled up into a bowl and set aside. Then once your mushrooms are nice and rehydrated and soft, you can slice them into thin strips and set those aside. Finally, we are going to roughly chop about 1 cup of kale. So we're going to make our spice blend. First, we're gonna start off with a teaspoon of turmeric. This turmeric just gives it that kind of eggy color. Then we're going to add a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of garlic powder, teaspoon of onion powder, teaspoon of cumin, and 2 teaspoons of nutritional yeast. And we're going to add that mushroom broth that we got from the dehydrated mushrooms. We want to add enough of that in until you get a thin spice paste. That way we can drizzle it over the tofu scramble when we need it. Any extra of that dehydrated mushroom liquid, don't throw that out just yet. We're gonna also use it throughout the cooking process of the tofu scramble. Now we can cook our tofu scramble. We're gonna start off by adding about a tablespoon of sesame oil into a cast iron pan, or any pan if you don't have a cast iron one. and then adding our sliced up dehydrated mushrooms into it. We're going to cook those for just a couple minutes until they get some nice golden brown pieces on them. Then we're going to add our tofu into it and make sure to mix that all around so that it's not sticking to the bottom, but you want the tofu to get a little bit golden brown and crispy. Once that is all cooked, we're going to add our spice liquid and kind of just drizzle that over the top and mix it all in so that all the tofu and mushrooms are all nice and coated with this delicious spice mix. Then also to add a little bit of extra moisture, we added about 2 tablespoons of salsa to it, and then we added in about a half a cup of Daiya cheddar shreds and put the lid on it so that the cheese could melt a little evenly. After a couple minutes of the cheese melting, you can take the lid off and mix it all in together. The heat from the rest of the ingredients will help melt the rest of the cheese. Finally, we're gonna add our chopped kale on top and place the lid on that so that it can steam. You might need to add about a tablespoon or 2 of the mushroom liquid into the tofu scramble at this point so that it has something to steam the kale. After a couple minutes of the kale steaming, you can mix that all in together so that everything is evenly distributed. Then we're gonna finally add about a teaspoon of black salt. This is what's gonna give it its nice eggy taste. And you wanna add it in right at the end so that it doesn't lose its flavor later on. Mix that so that the salt is evenly distributed, turn off the heat, and set it aside to allow it to cool for a little bit. Since we will be wrapping these and then freezing them, you don't want them to go in piping hot. While that cools, we're going to finish up cooking our tempeh bacon. To do that, we are just going to cook them on a flat top or a frying pan on about medium to high heat until they're nice and golden brown on either side. As you're cooking, you might want to grab out a brush to just add some extra bits of the marinade as it cooks. And finally, we are going to put our burritos together. So we started off with a really good amount of the tofu scramble, put on a layer of salsa, then our crispy potatoes, and then our bacon, and rolled that up and repeated that 5 times because this makes actually a perfect amount of burritos for your week. There's 2 different methods to reheat these burritos. The first method is the quickest, and that's in the microwave. All you need to do is pop it in the microwave frozen. Make sure to take the tin foil off first. Pop it in the microwave frozen for about 1.5 minutes. Once that's up, just flip it over and then pop it in the microwave again for 1.5 minutes and you're good to eat your burrito. If you want kind of a more even bake and to get the tortilla a little crunchy, you want to use the oven. Obviously this method's going to take a lot longer, but it's perfect for the morning because you can just throw it in and then get ready while it bakes. To do that, all you need to bake it is at 350 for about 30 minutes, making sure to flip it halfway through. And again, make sure to take it out of its tin foil. And then you're ready. Burritos!
I'm so hungry.
Look how good they look, though.
So cute.
Burrito time.
Okay.
So good, right? Mm-hmm. It should be a really hearty breakfast. Mm-hmm. Like, you would stay full. I also like that we did a burrito because you can eat it on the go. Mm-hmm. Like, if you take transit to work, you can eat it while you're on transit. Mm-hmm. You don't have to eat this at home. You know we like portable foods.
That's true. I really like the bacon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make these. I don't know what else to say about them. They're so good.
I want more potato. I say make more potato.
It might be hard to roll, but make more potato. If you're not into breakfast meal prep, this tofu scramble would be great in the morning. All this would be great in the morning. Just make it as a breakfast plate.
I love the cheesiness.
Mm-hmm. The cheese is a pretty important part in the scramble because I made it without it, and it's a little dry without the cheese and the salsa added into it. Mm-hmm. And I've even tried, I made it without salsa in it, but I put salsa in the burrito when I was constructing it and cheese in it, and it just doesn't melt the same when it's pre-melted and then reheated in the microwave. Yeah. it doesn't melt the same way, so I would always recommend putting the cheese directly into the scramble and having cheese.
I would add some hot sauce in there.
Of course you would.
I feel like that's the thing that I want in this. I want more potatoes and I want hot sauce.
It'd be great with some Franks on it.
And then I'd be totally happy. Not that I'm not happy now. I'm pretty happy now, but I just feel like...
I can get you hot sauce. Do you want hot sauce?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, a lot of people carry mini bottles of hot sauce in their purse.
Yeah.
So it's something you could add later.
I think because when I wasn't vegan, hot sauce on eggs was like always a thing.
Oh, I didn't eat eggs.
So now it's like, oh yeah.
Shout out to Lola's for making delicious hot sauce.
I don't really know what else to say. The fact that I spent most of this outro eating the burrito, I think says enough about...
It's going to be a 2-minute outro of us eating, no talking.
Yeah, the fact that I ate most of it instead of talking, I think says a lot.
Yeah, it's a great meal prep. It doesn't actually take that long to make because most of it you're waiting for it to cool down before you can wrap them. So it's pretty quick. You could make it the night before on a Sunday night, have them prepped for your whole week.
The whole week.
And it makes waking up so much easier when you know you have breakfast in 3 minutes.
And I feel like there's still lots of ways that you could customize this a little bit to your liking.
Well, if you don't like kale you could add different vegetables into your tofu scramble. You could try chickpea scramble instead because people do that a lot. I don't know.
I might sub spinach instead of kale.
I like kale better than spinach.
In the comments below, let's talk about meal prep more because we are planning our next meal prep adventures. So
yeah, it's definitely going to be an adventure.
give us some guidance maybe.
Yeah, maybe like some inspiration for what type of meal you would want meal prepped. Think lunch. We'll probably do a lunch meal prep next, like work or school lunch. What kind of cuisine do you want? What kind of characteristics should it have? Like, do you want a cold lunch? Do you want a hot lunch? Something that's easy to reheat? Those kind of details. And I also want to know what you meal prep for breakfast.
Yes.
What other kind of meal prep ideas could people use?
I'm sure there are so many.
Like, I think everyone knows the classics. Overnight oats.
Yep.
Everyone does that. Also, like, chia pudding is a pretty easy one. But what are other ones that you do? I'm curious if there's other ones.
Probably like a breakfast sandwich.
Oh, I've heard those, and I would love to do that.
Same. I want that.
There's also, I used to do this, but I used to pre-package ingredients for a smoothie in the... So, like, I didn't have to measure anything out in the morning. I just took the bag out of the fridge and dumped it in the blender. I used to do that when I ate smoothies a lot more, but...
That's all for this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future vegan recipes and whatever Wednesdays, every other Wednesday.
Happy back to school for all you students.
You know what? We were having such a good time.
You're not going back to school.
I still like get triggered by this time of year.
Because you still go back to school.
That too.
You work at a school. But yeah, happy back to school to everyone. I hope this makes it a little less bad.
Less bad.
Less bad.
I hope that you're taking more English. Bring burritos. They are happiness.
Just bring burritos on your first day of school for everyone. I brought breakfast burritos.
I'm gonna make so many friends.
You would make so many friends. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go now.
Yeah.
And make friends with our burritos. We can only make 2 friends though.
1, 2.
Oh, we're friends.
I never put greens in my stuff. Greens were for salads.
Yeah. Now they're for salads.